Hi, everybody. Jean Humbrecht with Humbrecht Law, criminal and traffic defense attorney in Manassas, Virginia. Welcome to my weekly local business spotlight. Today, I have a very special guest, and this show is probably very different from all the other ones we have done. Sullivan is joining us. He is a disc golf tournament director and a new PDGA staffer. That's Professional Disc Golf Association staffer. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Mike to tell everybody who's watching a little bit about what disc golf is and what he does, and then we'll just have a conversation. And as you guys are watching and have a question or a comment, feel free to type something in and we will get your question answered. So, Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you.
So thank you first, Jean, for having me on. I'm really excited to talk to everybody. Disc golf is a sport that really has been around for a long time in one form or another, but began kind of as an organized thing in 1976. And that's when the first pole hole, that's what those baskets that you might see around your local parks that have a pole with a basket and chains on them. They were originally called pole holes, and that was the invention of Steady Ed Hedrick, who worked for Wham-O. Wham-O made Frisbees. So it began actually as Frisbee golf. And then as the influence of Wham-O started to recede in the sport, and the disc technology changed, we began calling it disc golf. But it's the same thing. It is essentially a game based like golf on getting a projectile into a target in the fewest number of iterations possible. So in our case, we are getting these special high-tech discs into a special basket in as few throws as possible. And you've completed the hole when your disc comes to rest in the basket. Now, if you're local, you may have seen disc golf baskets at Burke Lake Park, Pohick Bay, Giles Run, Bluemont in Arlington, Bull Run in Centerville. And if you are a golfer and you like the 9-hole executive golf course at Lake Ridge, you may have seen brand new baskets pop up just in this late spring and early summer as we put a permanent course in there very recently. And that's the sport. It is a lifetime sport. It's an all-ages sport. My daughter is the current reigning girls 8 and under state champion of Virginia, and my wife has competed in 2 different amateur world championship yearly championship matches for the 40-plus crowd, and I play somewhat poorly. I'm a much better organizer than I am a player, but I still enjoy watching discs fly through the air. So that's disc golf in a nutshell.
Well, I'm sure you're a much better player than that. Than you think that you are. So can you tell everybody, obviously people probably have heard of Frisbee golf, but how does disc golf compare to regular golf or ball golf, as people call it? Are the rules similar?
Yes and no. I mean, you still play it as it lies. You still can mark out your lie to throw the same disc again, or if you need to, when you put your disc down, when it comes to rest, you can use a mini marker disc to mark out in front of your lie so you can throw the same disc again, or so that you can get a slightly more secure footing, or you can play from behind where the disc goes. There is a little bit of a strategic element there that's not present in traditional golf. In traditional golf, you have a ball, and you strike it with your set of clubs. Here, the ball and club are one thing. You have your putter, a blunter-edged putter. This is mine. Sorry, my display is not mirrored, and it's weirding me out, so I'm getting used to it. It's my normal putting putter. I do throw it off the tee on shorter holes. And then you'll see slightly sharper-edged mid-range disc, and then fairway driver. And there are other drivers that are thinner and sharper than these as well. But this gives you the idea of the different, what we call the different wing shapes on a disc. And the narrower the wing shape, the more speed has to be imparted on the disc for it to fly properly. Sometimes people talk about the speed of a disc, and that means you have to impart speed upon it. And so it's a little bit different than a club where you have face angles and things like that will control the arc of a ball, where if you want to have a ball with a more arcing motion, you're going to go to a 9-iron or a wedge. And here it's all about arm slot, how you create angle. The type of disc is all about how it interacts with the air. It's a flying wing. So discs can be what we call straight stable, where they essentially stay relatively straight through the whole flight if thrown at the proper speed. They can be what we call understable, where it will turn a little bit against the rotation of the disc before finishing. And they can be what we call overstable, where it will dump out in the direction of the spin. And what disc you choose depends on the shape of the shot. It depends on the elevation. It depends on the wind. All of these things can affect discs in a dramatic fashion. And they do affect golf balls as well, because a golf ball is sort of a dimpled spinning orb, and this is an actual wing that requires air density and things like that to fly. The calculus is very different between the two sports in that regard.
Okay. So if somebody has never played disc golf before, what would you recommend that they do? Should they try to get in touch with local disc golf groups that are in the area? Just go to a course and practice and just throw the disc around?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say get in touch with your local club. Here in Virginia, we have here in Fairfax, Arlington, Alexandria, and Prince William. That's all governed by the NoVA Disc Golf Association. It's a 501c3 nonprofit, was founded in 2015, and they have about almost 400 members now. And so I believe it's the biggest club between Charlotte and maybe Philadelphia on the East Coast. Extremely active on Facebook. Again, NoVA Disc Golf Association. If you join that Facebook group and simply say, hey, I want to get into disc golf, this community is amazing, because people say, oh, I've got some beginner discs that you can have, or hey, do you want to go throw around and I'll show you the ropes. And if you're not necessarily comfortable doing that right away, you can also simply buy a disc. I recommend you start with a disc, like a putter, something that is, don't worry about flight numbers and things like that, marketing techniques. Get a putter that feels good to you when you hold it, and get out and just test how it flies. At first, you will say, can't throw very far, or if you're throwing it backhand across your body, you'll say, oh, it always is going left if I'm right-handed, or it's always going right if I'm left-handed. But that's how everybody starts out. Just like golf, it's a technique sport, and the technique, A, is not simple to learn, and B, is something that you can constantly improve. No one will ever perfect a disc golf swing, because just like Bob Rotella said in his famous book about golf, it's not a game of perfect. It's just a game of improvement. And so, yeah, get in touch with your local club. If you don't want to do that, get a disc, get out to your local course, go to a place like Disc Golf Scene or Disc Golf Course Review. Those are both great websites where you can find disc golf courses near you, and just go play around, watch your Frisbee fly, watch your disc fly, and see how you like it. And I think you'll get hooked. There's something about watching these things fly through the air, and there's something about the sound when a good putt lands in the chains and drops in. That's, it's kind of viscerally addicting. I don't know what there is about it, but I started playing in 2004, and I haven't stopped since.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Viscerally addicting. Yeah, you can't really, it's hard to describe that feeling, especially for me. And it takes me many, many strokes or throws to get the disc in that basket. But when I do, it's a good feeling.
It is. And you can have a tough round, and you have that one good shot or that one long putt, those coming back next time, that, props you up, and you remember that moment, and you kind of, it's sort of, disc golfers, like golfers, are infamous for, like, right after the round, you're like, oh, this went wrong, and this went wrong, and this went wrong. We're famously self-effacing and sort of self-deprecating. But when you think about it 2 days later, you're like, man, I made that putt. Those are the moments that stick with you and make you come back, as the victories, big and small.
Yeah.
And, I love that about the sport too.
So the different groups that Mike was talking about, there's the Bull Run Disc. Is it called Bull Run Disc Golf Association? Is that what it's called?
I think it's called the Bull Run Disc Golf Group.
Bull Run Disc Golf Group. So there's a variety. I'll let Mike tell you about all of them, but they're local groups, and you guys can join the Facebook group, and they frequently post. I'm a member of a lot of them. The groups, they frequently post about, they're going out to just play, a friendly game, not a tournament or anything, who wants to go and meet at this time. And then they also have tournaments too. So actually that's a good segue. So Mike, you want to talk about the different groups and then the tournaments?
Yeah, absolutely. So in addition to NoVA Disc Golf Association, the neighbor club is the Loco Disc Golf Club, and that's Loudoun County. They are also a 501c3. I currently sit on the board of the Loco Disc Golf Club, and I am sort of a board member emeritus to NoVA. So I work with both clubs. And in addition, as you sort of move out from there, we have small kind of enclaves within those clubs. So there's the Bull Run Disc Golf Group, most of whom are NoVA or Loco members as well, but they are really focused on improving and maintaining the course at Bull Run. There's the Giles Run Meadow Park Volunteer Team. Again, those are mostly NoVA members, but they have a special focus on battling invasive plants at Giles Run, and they also play disc golf. So as you get more into the scene, there are specialty groups too, and some big clubs sort of satelliting around what we think of as NoVA. You've got the Spotsy Disc Golf Club, Stafford Disc Golf Club. I believe Spotsy is a 501c3. Stafford is on their way to doing so. And you have the Southern Maryland Disc Golf Club and Cedar Farm in Gaithersburg. And then as we go out a little further, there's Apple Valley, which is out along 81 in Winchester and Stevens City and Strasburg, that whole area. And so there's a lot of clubs. They're all sort of regional. But the cool thing about Virginia disc golf is there's not a lot of competition between these clubs in terms of trying to, outdo one another. Everybody plays each other's tournaments. People travel. There's a lot of collegiality in the sport, in Virginia especially, which I love about it. For example, we had the, let me see, I think I'm actually, the 2019, is this the disc golf series? No, we had the 2019 United States Women's Disc Golf Championship held in Spotsylvania. So it was at, the pros played a course called Loriella and a course that's only seasonally available called Hawk Hollow. And then other AM divisions played a mix of Loriella, the Blockhouse, which is private land as well in Spotsylvania, and Cannon Ridge, also private land. And the 2-year run-up to that event, which is a PDGA major that grants national titles, had every club in Virginia fundraising to make that event the best it could be. And we had volunteers not only from all over the state, but from North Carolina and Tennessee and New Jersey convene on Spotsylvania to make that the best it can be. I know that's a bit of a digression, but I'm, want to talk about how the clubs work together as well. As for tournaments, there are several different types of disc golf events that can occur. Here in NoVA and in Loco, we have random draw doubles is the way that most people get introduced to competitive disc golf. Random draw doubles right now is ongoing Wednesday nights. So tonight at Burke Lake Park, you show up, pay a modest entry fee. I think it's $6. And you get to randomly select a partner. It could be a beginner. It could be a pro. And you play doubles in what is often in golf called captain's choice, but which we call best throw. And that's where you both throw off the tee. You decide which shot you like better, and you both throw your second shot from that lie. And so if you're new and your partner is experienced, you don't have a lot of pressure that you need to execute every single shot. You actually can rely on them to get you down the fairway and then focus on getting close to the basket or trying to sink a long putt or, doing something fun or risky while your partner plays it safe or vice versa. And so that's and because it's not sanctioned, there's no player rating at risk. There's no, trophies given out. There's just modest cash prizes to the, top few teams who win, and everybody just has a blast. There's also singles leagues. I will say Loco's doubles is on Thursdays at Franklin Park, and that one is actually free. So that one's just for fun. So both of those are available. And then there's doubles on Thursdays at Bluemont Park in Arlington. That's, I think, $5 or $6 as well. On Friday nights at Giles Run, that's $5 or $6. And then I believe Sundays at Clark's Run and both Saturdays and Mondays at Bull Run. Anyway, it's they're all over Facebook. There's basically doubles almost every night or weekday morning for you to get into with one club or another, one organization or another. There are also singles matches. NoVA just finished their singles league that took place on Tuesday nights, rotating around courses. Last night was the first night of their match play challenge, and I won't get down that rabbit hole. But they have Tuesday singles. Loco is going to have Flex Monday singles starting on the 16th of this month. It means you can show up, put a card of 3 together, show up anytime to play at Clark's Run in Luckett's. It's one of the toughest, hardest wooded courses. So if you're a beginner, just get ready to be punished a little bit there, but it is beautiful and challenging and fun. And then finally, we have PDGA tournaments. And one of the ones I'm here to talk about is happening on Saturday. It's what we call a PDGA C tier. So that is the lowest level of sanctioned event, meaning it's a very basic tournament, and generally a low-cost tournament. And that's National Disc Golf Day at Lake Ridge. And we have 3 shotgun start tee times going on. A shotgun start, if you're not familiar with golf or disc golf, is where every group starts on a hole at the same time. So you have 4 people who walk out each to 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Then we call start, and everybody starts throwing at the same time and rotates around the course until everyone has completed. This contrasts with a tee time start, where players start one after another on a designated hole. So this will have 3 separate shotgun starts to try and get as many people in as possible. It is a fundraiser for Fisher House. And Fisher House is a charity based in Maryland that operates homes that are put up veterans who need medical care and their families when they are seeking medical care. If you're familiar with Ronald McDonald House, it is somewhat like that, but it's targeted toward military veterans. And so they're a local charity that we like to support. And $15 of every entry fee plus extra donations are going to them. So we're excited to raise a bunch of money for them this weekend. So a C tier will generally be 1 or 2 rounds, usually anywhere between $5 to $30, depending on the scale of the tournament. Amateurs generally will either get a low entry fee, or they will get what's called a player pack, which is sort of a set of souvenir items for you to remember the event by, and get paid out in trophies. And then professional players, which does not necessarily mean it's their day job. It simply means in this case they are competing for money. They play for a cash prize and also trophies for first place only. And as you get up the tier levels, B tier, A tier, what we call Elite Series, and then the National Tour and Majors, the amount of cash that needs to be added to the pro purse gets larger. The type of player pack that needs to be provided to the amateurs gets larger, and the expectations for the experience and frequently the number of days and rounds of competition gets larger. So, for example, this C tier on Saturday is 1 round. Everybody's playing 1 round. Going on at the same time right now is the Professional Masters, and that means 40-plus divisions, World Championships in Johnson City, Tennessee, where they will be playing a total of 4 rounds plus semifinals and finals. So the winners will have played 6 rounds of disc golf over 5 days in order to win a world championship. At Amateur Worlds coming up in Orlando, Florida later this month, they'll actually play 6 rounds in 4 days and then cut to a semifinals and finals. So it's really some of these large scale tournaments that confer national and world titles are as much of an endurance trial as anything else. Mm-hmm. But for your local tournaments here that are run by Loco and NoVA, right now we run B tiers and C tiers. Someday maybe we'll bring an A tier to Northern Virginia, but that's not in the cards for at least this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a lot of information.
I'm sorry. You get me going and I can't stop.
No, it's fine. I'm glad that you mentioned that Clark's Run is one of the most difficult courses, because I played it with a friend once and I played terribly. So now I don't feel so bad.
You probably played fine. That course is just extremely hard.
Good to know. It's so the courses are actually very different. Each course, you go to Bull Run, it's not going to be the same as if you go to Clark's Run. They're completely different. So
right, and even at places like Bull Run, there are multiple sets of tees and occasionally multiple baskets that can challenge you. Mm-hmm. Giles Run in Lorton is a great example of that. You can go from the short tees to the short baskets, and while it's a long walk, I have a pretty straightforward disc golf experience. And then if you play long to long, then you're talking about having to hit landing zones because you can't simply get to the basket on many of the holes off the tee. Or if you do try, you could go out of bounds into, even with all the clearing the volunteer team has done, there's still a significant amount of multifloral rose and autumn olive and ailanthus and things and blackberry that can simply eat your disc up and cost you strokes because you've gone OB. And so disc golf courses not only vary between one another, but can vary in how you play the course should they have multiple pin and tee positions. So there's a lot of customizability to be had.
Mm-hmm. Before we go on, I just want to mention a couple people that you probably know that are leaving comments. Travis Stinson Davis, AVDG. I assume that means Apple Valley Disc Golf.
Hey, Travis.
And Jeffrey Ono says A tier, please, and Bull Run. So I guess he's a member of the Bull Run Club.
Yeah, I know both those guys. I know Travis and Jeffrey really well. Hey, dudes, thanks for writing in. I'm working on the A tier. You know that. Let's get Sophia's Valley in the ground, and then we'll talk.
Well, anybody else that's out there watching, say hi, because I know some people, but I'll probably know a lot more after doing this live the next time that I go to a course.
I guess I should pull up one of these live things so I can see the comments. I'll do that.
Oh, okay. I thought you could see it on your side. Actually, I pulled up a YouTube video because we can screen share on this, so people who don't know what disc golf is can see what it actually looks like. And then, I heard my voice there. And then I also pulled up Disc Golf Scene to show what the tournament page is. But let me pull up the video really quick. It's just a few seconds so you guys can see. Oh, Corey Abrams, Apple Valley. All right, Apple Valley in the house.
Corey, not only a good disc golfer, but a phenomenally talented cook.
Oh, good to know.
This awesome chef for sure.
All right, can you guys see my screen? The YouTube video? Yeah. All right.
This Saturday. Now, please enjoy the highlights from the 2020 Green Mountain Championships.
Dude, go. Simon loves it. Yeah. What's not to love? Lemons is hyped it.
So I just wanted to show that to show you guys what the disc golf basket looked like and what it looks like to actually throw. I'm sure, Mike, you can probably find a better video, but
well, I would encourage everyone to Google James Conrad 2021 Worlds. That is the biggest and most important disc golf shot that has ever been thrown, and it happened at Pro Worlds this year. It's not the farthest throw-in that's ever occurred. It's about 252 feet. But the throw-in actually forced a playoff, which James Conrad then won. He had to throw it in from 250 or lose the world championship. And it is it's really something. I was actually in Utah for the days leading up to that, doing some work marshaling for cards, which is basically being a rules official. But I had to come back here to run some tournaments at Clark's Run. And so I did get to see it live on TV with my wife, which was great, but did not get to see it live in Utah, which was a little bittersweet. But yeah, James Conrad, 2021 Worlds, the shot heard around the worlds. It's got several names now, but it's going to be the one that I think in 10 years, if disc golf keeps exploding like it has been, you're going to have, good point, Corey, James Conrad from Blacksburg, Virginia. So an Old Dominion boy does good. But this is you're going to see the 12-year-old kids trying to throw in from 250 and like James Conrad steps up to his lies. Sort of like, if you're playing pickup basketball and you're like, and Jordan for the fadeaway jumper and stick your tongue out. It'll be that kind of cultural touchstone because it went as viral as a sports moment can go. Really phenomenal.
I think I found it. I'm gonna try to show it really quick.
All right.
All right, share screen.
So I'll set the scene. This is hole 18. Yeah, this is definitely it.
Okay.
Hole 18 at the fort in Ogden, Utah. It's a water carry into a treacherous stand of trees and then through a tight OB fairway. It's marked with string and stakes around a mandatory and into sort of a protected area where the basket lies. There's a lot of trouble you can get in on this hole. And so James has he's crossed the water, hit a tree, and had to kind of pitch through the trees to where he's sitting. And he's got to sink a birdie in order to force a playoff with Paul Macbeth, who has won 5 world championships. Paul Macbeth, also a Virginian, lives in outside Lynchburg.
All right, I'm going to play the shot.
Yes. I will never get sick of watching that. So amazing. I was sitting at home. We were watching live with Lindsay, and Lindsay was like, "Oh man, looks like Paul's going to win." I was like, "I don't know. He's got his envy, which is the putter he throws on those shots. He's got his envy. He could throw it in." She's like, "No way!" And then, boom.
Mhm.
We went nuts and woke up the kids.
All right. One other thing, I just want to show everybody the disc golf scene website. I'm not going to go through everything, just really quick so you guys can see. This is the website that has the tournaments coming up in Virginia, and I guess just Virginia. That's probably the way that I filtered it. So, oh, and here's tournaments in the United States. So you can look for tournaments all over the place. And then you click on the tournament. I'm just clicked on a random one. And then it tells you how much it costs to play. Pro people over 40 that are pro or one. Well, these are both the same price, but you can see that there could be different prices. Tournament directors information is there if you have questions. You can see who the registered players are, so you can try to play with your friends. But I just want to show everybody that website.
That's awesome. Thank you.
So we were talking about before I shouted out Corey and Jeffrey. We were talking about disc going out of bounds. Were we going somewhere with that? Yeah, the last tournament that I played, there are a lot of rules. And I would tell people, don't be scared of participating in a tournament because of the rules, because everybody, in my experience, is very nice and will help you. And, everybody gets along. And if you don't know what the rules are, they will tell you, and they will tell you when you break the rules, but nobody gets mad because, everybody starts at different places, and that's really the only way to learn. So.
Right. Yeah. I rules is part of my job, right? Teaching tournament directors rules, helping write and craft rules, all of those things are things that I did both when I was on the PDGA board of directors and that I do now as a staffer. And, we players only get upset about rule breaking if you're an experienced person who keeps doing it. Right. But if you're new, we just want to teach you, we just want you to learn. And so it's a lot of just sort of going, hey, by the way, when you're within 10 meters of the basket, you can't follow through on your putt. So please don't do that next time. Or, what I do, I carry a lot of minis on me. I am a mini collector. I have several here made by Gabby Sigafu, one of our local artists who makes these resin minis that I'm just super addicted to. And what I'll do is say, hey, I see somebody trying to flip their disc over, to mark their lie, or ask if they can pick it up to use it again. And I say, well, you need to use a mini marker disc. And better than that, I have an extra. Here you go. And you'll get a lot of that sort of, like I said, collegiality and camaraderie in the sport. A lot of sharing. We're big on sharing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember the first time that I went out to Apple Valley. Oh God, what course was it? In Stevens City. I'm blanking.
Sharando?
Yes, Sharando. I did not know anybody that was there. I just contacted one person before I got there, and I just showed up. I think I was the only girl that was there, and I played, and nobody was bothered that I was really slow, and just had a great time. Like, everybody's just really nice. It's just a fun time, like getting out there and playing, and everybody, in my experience, has been really nice and welcoming. So
yeah, and that's good, and they should be. I think it's the overwhelming majority, of disc golfers we're excited about the sport, and so we want to, for lack of a better word, we want to evangelize about the sport. We want to tell you about the sport. It's beyond sort of an inclusiveness, and what I like to say is what we need to do as a sport, and what we are doing as a sport, is you don't just have an open door that people can walk through. You get on the other side and you go, hey, you come here. I want you to see what's on the other side of this door, because not only is it fun, and not only are you going to enjoy it, but we want you here. We want you as part of our community. You are welcomed. You are affirmed. You are one of us, and that's a vibe that I don't always get in every sort of endeavor that you go into as an adult, especially. But in disc golf, we have that vibe, and I really value that. Yeah.
Corey says we were glad to have you.
That's awesome. Yep.
So,
yeah, Corey and Nate Hughes and the Shiley brothers and the Pastelocks and all the folks out there really do make a welcoming place for people, especially new people. And I just love that about the Apple Valley crew.
Tim Barron said the most fun wins.
That's right. So Timber Timber designed a lot of courses, but he is most famous for redesigning Bluemont and for designing Giles Run Meadow. And Tim has been around the sport a long time, and he's right. That was the original and continues to be my motto: is the most fun wins. And when I have a bad day on the course, I feel like all the people who shot well are suckers because I got to play more golf for my money.
Okay. I'll think that way next time.
Yeah, it's a good mindset.
Yeah.
And if you have a bad shot and you want to tell yourself about it, you just have to say, "Well, you got to bring up old stuff and move on."
Yeah. I actually wanted to show everybody something. I have my disc golf bag here that I actually won this. It's kind of hard to see, but this is a smaller bag compared to most. It looks big compared to my body. But I won this at one of the tournaments that I played. And then I'll just show you guys. Look at all these discs that I have in here. Well, I'm trying to. Okay, you see, I'll pull them out. So the first time that I went, I'm like, why do you need 30 discs? But there is a reason for it because they're all so different. Like on the back, for example, I don't know if you guys can see, but there's 4 numbers back there. I don't want to get people too confused, but Mike, if you could just tell everybody really quick what these different numbers are. And the reason why I'm saying that is because all the discs have different numbers and they have different uses. So I just wanted to bring that up if anybody new to disc golf was watching. And then I also found a little mini disc that Mike was talking about. I don't even know the right terminology.
A mini marker disc
to put where your disc lied, so that you can pick your disc up and actually use it. So I got this at I don't know where I got this one. I got this one at a tournament. See, a lot of the time, if you register for a tournament, you get a free disc. Not every time, but most of the time. So, Mike, if you want to tell people about the numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. So the flight number system is really good at comparing different discs, especially from the same brand. And they are also somewhat useful across brands, but they're usually relative to one another in a single brand. So compare Innova with Innova, Discraft with Discraft, MVP with MVP, etc. Those are all major disc manufacturers. There are a bunch of them now. But there are 4 numbers, and they are speed, glide, turn, and fade. Speed I alluded to earlier. It is not the speed that the disc will fly. It is the speed you need to impart on the disc in order to make it fly as designed. So the higher the speed, the more difficult it is to throw. So as a beginner, lower speed discs are your friend. When you start out, I recommend putters and mids, nothing over maybe a 5 or 6 speed as you learn to throw. As you start getting good results with those, you can start experimenting with faster discs, 9, 10, 11, all the way up to, I think they have some 14 and 15 speeds, but my bag tops out at about 11. That's about all I can handle. The top echelon of pros can hurl those fast discs and make them look like it's easy, but it's not. So the next is glide. Glide is a function often of the shape of the disc. Things like putters will often have high glide for their speed, but fairway drivers and mid-ranges tend to have the most overall glide. So the higher that number, the longer the disc is going to hang in the air as compared to another disc of the same speed thrown the same way. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And then turn is sort of what we talked about a little bit earlier. Turn is the disc's tendency to travel against the rotation of the disc. And what I mean by that is if I'm throwing this putter backhand, so coming through here, and I'm right-handed, it will tend to, at the end of the flight, finish left. Turn is how easy it is for it to travel right first and how easily and far it will turn right before coming back left. Some discs have so much turn that when you throw them flat, they'll turn way over or even turn into a roller, which is a shot that I've executed both on purpose and by accident. And then fade is the opposite of turn. Fade is the finish of the disc, how strongly it will move into the rotation at the end. So again, if I'm throwing backhand and we expect the disc to finish left, the fade is how hard it finishes left. The turn is how much it has a tendency to move right first. So a disc thrown perfectly at speed that was, say, 3, 3, 3, or 3, 3, negative 2, 2. So 3 speed, 3 glide. You wouldn't expect it to stay in the air long. You wouldn't expect to have to throw it very fast, but you would expect it to make a little S curve. So negative 2 and then 2. A disc that is 3, 3, 0, 4, you would expect to go straight and then dump hard left at the end. And these are useful not only as you learn the sport. You'll find that this is useful not only in calm conditions, but that overstable discs are good in headwinds. Understable discs, those are discs with a lot of turn, are good in tailwinds. Overstable means a lot of fade. So the 3304 is an overstable disc. You can throw that if you want to dump left. You can throw it if you're going to put some sort of right turn on it and have it what we call flex out, make this sort of shape in the air. Or you can throw it to fight the effects of a headwind. This is a lot of information. But that is just to say, not that you need to know all these things to step on a disc golf course for the first time, but simply for you to know that there's a lot to know, and there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot that you can read. There's a lot that you can watch YouTube videos about. And what the thing, again, I most recommend is there's a lot of things that you can just get on your local club's Facebook page, ask who's going out to play around. I want to learn. I want to see how this works. And you'll get hands raised to spend time with new people. It's, again, it's that function of that great community I've been talking about ad nauseum.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mike earlier talked about some of the groups having doubles weekday mornings, some nights, some weekends, and then also the tournaments, but they also just go to disc golf courses to just play. And like somebody will say, hey, I'm hitting up, Sharando today at 10, who wants to come? And then people just show up. I've done that a few times. Like I've asked and I've responded to people doing that a few times. So yeah, so you can go out there and play and get to meet people and know people, and you don't have to worry about any, pressure of a tournament or not, feeling that you don't play well, and just get out there and have fun and meet people. Yeah.
People don't have, especially with how much the sport has grown during COVID, during the pandemic, we're all very aware that we have an influx of new people and inexperienced people. And I'm really proud of our community for not falling prey to the siren song of gatekeeping that sometimes happens when emerging sports that are very popular in a smaller group of people start to explode into the general consciousness, is that everyone appears to have resisted being gatekeepers of the sport and has instead embraced the explosion in popularity as something that is wonderful and vibrant for the sport. And I do think having a tradition of, hashtag grow the sport helps in that regard. But, things like this, an explosion of popularity really tests the health of your community. And I think we've done remarkably well. I just am so happy to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I had heard about it, and I played one time in my life prior to COVID, like 15 years ago, a long time ago. And then no particular reason, just never played again until late 2020. So yeah, I think a lot of people have heard of it, but have not necessarily gone out there and just tried playing.
Yeah, and I hope that they will. But now I do have to ask you one question.
Okay.
What's your favorite course you've ever played?
Well, I haven't played that many, but
it's okay.
Not Clarksville. I've played like 4 or 5. I honestly my favorite. I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but I'll just say my favorite is Sharando.
Awesome. That's a good course. I play poorly there, but I appreciate that course.
Oh, I didn't say I played well. It's just.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. That's very cool.
Yeah, and that was not the first course I went to either, so that's not why.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, for years I played 3 courses total. For the first probably, 10 years I played disc golf. I played Burke Lake, and then I played 2 private courses in Great Cape in West Virginia, the Paw Paw courses, which are the Woodshed and the Whipping Post, owned by Gabby and Spencer Thurman. And that's actually, I had my bachelor party there, so that's like how much connection I had to that place. But yeah, for years I played either Burke Lake or those two courses, and that's kind of polar opposites of disc golf because those are also extremely difficult and fun courses. But that's where my buddies and I would play for a long time until George asked me if I wanted to help start up the NoVA club again, and then here we are.
Mm-hmm. We covered a lot. Is there anything?
I'm a talker. I should have warned you.
Well, I already knew that. I knew that when I asked you to come on. Is there anything else we need to talk? Because I mean, I understand a lot of what you were saying. Not all of. I still can't remember the difference between the different numbers on the back of the disc. Sorry.
Okay.
But is there anything else you think we need to tell people or discuss? Is there anything else we're leaving out?
I'm just going to sum up, if that's okay. You know, if you want to try disc golf, get on the Facebook page of your local club. Ask people where they're playing. If you see people saying they're playing a casual round, say, "I'm a beginner. Can I just show up? Can I borrow some discs?" And the answer is, you know, more than likely going to be yes. And if you just want to get into it on your own, go. You know, there are only a few places that sell discs brick and mortar up here, but you can go to places like Pohick Bay and Bull Run or Burke Lake, where their sort of camp stores or their information centers sell discs. Pick out a putter and a mid-range, you know, and just experiment. You know, the Frisbee clarion call was invent games, experiment. And that's how disc golf was born, was from people inventing games and experimenting. And so you can go just get out on a course and find some of that joy for yourself. And I don't even recommend playing for score the first time you play. Just play to watch the discs fly and sort of be out there in nature, in you know, gorgeous places, watching plastic fly through the air and occasionally hit metal.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, thanks so much, Mike, for coming on and talking about all of this. And as Mike said, and I forgot to mention in the very beginning, the reason we're doing this today is because Saturday the 7th is National Disc Golf Day. There's a day for everything.
Yep.
And there's a tournament this weekend. And when when I was on the tournament page, I saw that there was a Diamonds or Girls Best Friend tournament that I missed. Damn.
Yeah, that was on Sunday at Spillman Park. It was fun. Gabby Sigafu and Jess Geraci did a great job putting that on. We had 68 women. When I say we, I catered, and Lindsay, we made barbecue for everybody, and it was awesome. We had people from as far away as Minnesota, Connecticut, Massachusetts. I think maybe I'm thinking of a different tournament. We definitely had Lauren Butler and Alex Berg from Minnesota, who are touring pros, came and played, and were just awesome. But yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, and there are tournaments going on all the time, pretty much every weekend in different parts of Virginia, not necessarily local to where you might be, but there are tournaments. And some are for just pro only. Some you know, you can join any you know, division from novice, which is me, to very experienced. So check it out. And like I said, don't be afraid to enter a tournament, because I just went right in immediately because that's just what I do. But it's fun. So yeah, and the Facebook groups, Bull Run has a group, NoVA has a group, Loco, Loudoun County. I don't know if Stafford and Spotsy have Facebook groups.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. So just type in, you know, wherever you are looking for. I actually joined all the groups just so I could see, or I mean, at least all the local groups, so I could see what was going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, join the group. People are posting every day. You can always find something going on, and then go check it out and do it while the weather is still nice. So start now.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on, Gene. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So Mike, stay on for a second, because once I end the live, you and I can still chat. But thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in, and for all the disc golfers who I can see are logged in, and for the comments. And hopefully I will see you all soon. Bye.